Nearly 150 guests recently joined United Way of Escambia County in celebrating the results of this year's annual workplace campaign. In addition to celebrating the Dollars Pledge, special recognition was given to the efforts of several individuals and organizations. Here to tell us more about this year's success is Andrea Krieger, United Way's President and CEO. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Jeff.
So it was a big celebration, so we'll get into exactly what was celebrated. But for those who may not be as familiar with United Way as others, tell us a little bit about United Way of Escambia County in general.
Sure. Biggest thing I would say is that United Way is everybody in the community. It's the Live United. It's bringing everybody together to kind of collaborate, mobilize resources, mobilize people to meet the needs of the community. So if you're looking at our mission, we want to create better opportunities for a better life for everybody. And we do that by bringing people together, whether it's raising the dollars through campaign or working with volunteers or advocating for those in need in the community.
So it does take all of those things that you mentioned. That's exactly right to make that impact in the community. Well, let's get back to the celebration because we have some really good news. Why don't you tell everybody about the Dollars Pledged in the annual workplace campaign?
Sure. You know, it's there's so many people who need help. So when we can say we're up by almost 3% over the previous year, it's a very good year for the community. And dollar-wise, it's about $2.39 million. So it's quite a bit of resources that we generate, and it's done by donors who are either giving to a community chest so we can fund programs that we can measure impacts with, or they may have a specific initiative that they want to support that they direct their dollars through us. But Community Chest is probably one of the biggest parts of that fundraising, and that's truly because we look to directly have impacts, measurable impacts in education, health, and financial stability. So we want to directly impact in program areas with agency partners who are doing the work in the community.
And the workplace campaign gives everybody the ability to kind of spread things out versus write a check.
Right. You know, it's sometimes we all want to get involved and we have the best intentions, but life is really, really busy. So if we can use our payroll deduction and have it all in one place, giving $2, $3 per paycheck, it's that latte that we don't miss. But at the same time, it adds up, and it adds up to where you've given $100, $200 by the end of the year, and that can truly make a measurable impact in somebody's life in the community. And so it's a way to make it easy for everybody to be involved.
Well, you mentioned, obviously where the money goes is very, very important. And with my knowledge of United Way, I understand that y'all fund programs, not necessarily organizations.
Sure.
Could you kind of explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been around for over 80 years, and when United Way first came into being, it came into being as a community chest, and it came into being to fund the operations of all agencies in town, but we were talking about 4 agencies.
Right.
So now there's so much that needs to be done that the best way we have figured to actually have outcomes or sustain outcomes in the community is by directly funding programs. So, for instance, Council on Aging, through Community Chest, you guys apply to us for funding, and you apply for funding for Meals on Wheels, for instance, or for Senior Companions. And those programs, you can tell us if you give us, through the Community Chest, this much money. So if you give us $20,000, then we're going to leverage that $20,000 to bring federal dollars down, and we may be able to bring down another $9 for every dollar you give us. So we can grow this impact to $120,000 impact in the community, which means we can provide this many meals for seniors so that they can live independently in their home. Or we can partner a senior companion who needs a little bit of time to volunteer and give back and be involved in somebody else's life in a meaningful way. And we'll partner them up and provide companionship that goes both ways, and here's how many seniors will help. Well, that means we can go in and we can say, if we apply this dollar, we can have this impact, and we can report that back.
Well, what's also interesting is that part of the celebration is also the community helps distribute those funds. So that's something that's worth celebrating as well. You're talking about volunteers and it's not only raised through the community, but it's distributed through the community too. Tell us a little bit about the fund distribution
Sure,
process.
absolutely. I mean, the only thing about this process is the only way it works is if everybody's involved. And when you talk about raising the funds, you know, we have 350 volunteers who help us with that part, but when you talk about distributing them, it also takes people or donors who are willing to sit on a panel and give a half a day a week for a 4-month period. So they're going to come in and they're going to read a written application. So Council on Aging, again, applies for Meals on Wheels. They'll read that application about what Meals on Wheels will do with the dollars if they're chosen or selected as a grantee for the donors who are looking on this funds distribution process. Those same volunteers go out and they'll go on a site visit. So they'll go see the actual program in action. They may go to ARC, to Pearl Nelson Center. They may go to Chain Reaction, to the Teen Center. Whatever panel they're volunteering on, they go to the site visit. And then after that, they will all come together as a panel, and all of these programs will come in front of them, and the program coordinators will do an oral presentation, kind of that last look at the program.
Well, say, for example, to put it in perspective, how many programs were y'all able to fund last year?
Last year we funded 45 programs. So we had 36 agency partners, and some of them had a couple of programs, but it was 45 total programs that had a huge impact. It was over $1 million that those volunteers gave out of what had been raised.
Definitely worthy of a celebration. Well,
Yes.
let's talk about the other part. We said that you recognize some special efforts of individuals and companies. Talk about a little bit of that, because I know that was part of the big celebration.
Yeah, it was. It was a
event.
lot of fun. You know, that's what makes it work, is there are some workplaces that do a really good job of getting their employees involved and making it fun for them, because giving back should hit you in the heart. It should be a good time. So we had about 12 campaigns that, if you compiled those top 12 campaigns, they raised $1.3 million. So we highlighted the success of those 12 campaigns, and then we went in and we talked about campaigns who had 100% giving. So every employee at that workplace decided to give. So we had 6 of those. You guys, again, Council on Aging was one of the 6 on the workplaces where all the employees get involved. And I think part of what's so successful is that we highlight what they're doing to have fun, what kind of parties they're doing, how they're telling their employees about the good that the dollars do, and why it should feel good to give back. And then we recognize workplace coordinators who are very, very successful. And we recognize an agency workplace coordinator. Margaret Geralds was the Council on Aging workplace coordinator, who was our agency coordinator. And we recognize a professional coordinator. We recognize a school coordinator, a retail coordinator. So, you know, you may have everything from an agency like Council on Aging all the way over to a retail establishment like Buffalo Rock, whose efforts were exceptional. Or, you know, you may have a professional group. You may have Armstrong recognized. Gulf Power is our largest partner that benefits a lot of our organizations in the community. So it's just a big celebration, because literally they're the ones who are making the difference. We just have the benefit of being at United Way as staff who get to do what we love every day and get to see all the really good works. But it's over 1,800 volunteers by the end of the year that make the good work happen in the community. And
well,
that's to celebrate. Right. That's what's to celebrate.
That is definitely lots to celebrate. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.